Actually, that helped us. We're right where we need to be here.
We are right. Yeah, we're right there.
We're just going to have to push that middle in a little. I mean, I'm just barely on it.
It's like we planned it that way, right?
Yeah, that worked out well.
Comes up.
Probably put a screw in the back of that.
Yep. You need to get this end in.
What's
Well, I was gonna say, do we need to get this other one in before we do the middle ones? Or we want to do the middle one on that side first?
I'll get this to the string, and then we should be able to match that.
Hammer's right here for the back. No, we're not going too fast.
I don't know.
We only got 2 boards.
I think it's easier one at a time than setting them whole sections in.
Yeah, this one was so twisted though. Like, it pointed out. Re-straighten it. Okay. Now this one we got to mark.
Yeah, we'll have to cut this one. I'll move the string to the inside.
Okay. I'll mark it to the string.
Then we'll measure to the string.
Good there? I can get quite a bit of it. There. Really, yeah, where my foot is, I can put it
Down. Yep.
We good in and out. Kind of sucked it to me a little bit. probably stop it from kicking up.
Yeah, so that.
I guess that's kind of the big point. If we get a little shim about 1/8 inch or so, we'll shove it in there.
When you put this one here, was that for the door? Or was that just the spacing? The last one, that was just how the spacing ended up. Well, what I did was, this is how the 4-footer landed here, and here was the door. So I just measured, I think that was 16 inches. So I started 16 on that side. Okay. Well, because we'll have to have minimum of 2 in this wall for the code. Right. And then, okay, so you didn't measure, that wasn't like where it wound up for the garage door? For the garage door. No, because we didn't have the garage door marked. Okay. I might see where that is. Adjust these. And then leave that one where it is, and then put the one where it needs to go for the garage door, and then just measure center. Yeah. And put, of course, well, down there we were marking it to where it didn't fall in the studs. That's right. I mean, I guess these are going to work out the same. Yeah, I never, whatever ended up on the corner, that's what we started on this corner and just started going 4 foot again. So it should work out. But, well, when I center this up, I have to make sure it don't line up in a stud. Yeah. So, penciling. Well, here, let's say this wall door. Yeah, this one might not be in a good spot anyway, because if that's at our 25 foot here, you're going to have double studs to bring a wall off this way, so that might be in a bad spot anyway. I mean, you're going to have double studs at your door. Well, if you got, if this is your door and you got double studs, so you're only talking 3 inches. 3 inches. It goes here, so you could move. We could move that over. Well, I'd move this over anyway. Just why don't you get your end board there, and then we can measure exactly. Well, I'll cut some small strips. Just I want so I can pull those spacers, because I want that top screwed in before we put that board.
Yeah. Get everything in line.
To do something with this board. It's twisted too much. We're at 7.5 on our spacing. We're good on this one. Yeah, this sucker. We're gonna have to get that out of there. I'll throw it to the back.
I got my clamps today. You want to try it? See if we can squeeze it together.
Yeah, but you need to hold it with something, man. Well, I mean, I can screw the top.
Yeah, we can screw the top once it's in, just by hand.
I'm pulling it to 7, but with the twist, it's grabbing down lower. Yeah. I need to pull that top to 7. I'll cut some boards for the top.
Do we want to space bottom 7, top 7, and try and rack the whole thing kind of at once? You know what I'm getting? That way we know it's pushing and pulling in the right spots. We can put a spacer on bottom. I'll grab my clamps, clamp one bottom, one top, screw the top together, and then just undo it. Wherever the hell the bottom lands, the bottom lands.
Yeah. Lesson learned, don't buy lumber at Menards.
Okay.
That's junk. Alright, good morning everyone. It's about 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday. It's pour day. We got concrete coming somewhere between 8:30 and 9:30 today. So I'm out here just getting everything ready and cleaned up. We got some trash and everything to pick up and smooth a little bit of dirt out, but we were here late last night getting the forms ready and backfilled. This past week's been absolutely miserable weather-wise. It's been about 100 to 102 temperature and heat indexes of 110 to 112. I've been out here in the late afternoon trying to get everything ready. It went from raining 2 inches a day to just pure heat and humidity. So we're in the Midwest, so the humidity's pretty bad when it gets hot. Luckily today, we had a pretty good storm roll through yesterday. Luckily it didn't dump a bunch of rain. The ground was so dry and dusty, it soaked it up really quick. So luckily today, as you can see here, that rain really didn't affect us much, which is good, because I was really worried yesterday when I saw that storm rolling through. But we've got all the forms ready, everything's backfilled. We got our electric in, our plumbing sleeves are all in. So if you can see, you saw the video of us setting these wood forms, and then we have 2 inches of styrofoam on both sides in the trench, and that's making an 8-inch wall for us. The original plan was just to set these wood forms so the trench was 16 wide, which is the width of our footing. But with all the rain and everything right after we dug it, you can kind of see there how the trench started falling in on us. So that was kind of our fix to narrow it up rather than doubling our original concrete estimate. And doing this, the wall is now insulated, which will help with our heated floor. And it's cutting down on some concrete from the original budget. So we're going from 16 wide to 8 inches wide. So I'm happy about that. There was some cost to the foam, but we're still in the positive on this one. So we look down it, got all our anchor bolts in. We wrapped the tops of them with aluminum foil so they don't get covered in concrete. On the foam, we put a little dirt and a little rock on this side, on the where the floor is going to be. We backfilled with rock. On the outside, that's just getting backfilled with dirt, so it really doesn't matter. But on the inside, that's all going to get completely filled up with clean rock, so we don't have any settling issues. But we put a little in on that foam so that foam won't kick on us when we start dumping concrete in there. Over here, you see the electric. It's going to be going into the wall. We got pipes here. These are going to be welder outlets. Our panel will be down in the middle of the building. So that'll come up inside the wall cavity. We'll have finished 2x6 walls all the way around. So that'll come up inside the 2x6 wall, run up into a box. We got over here will be our main service coming in. That goes on the outside of the wall. We got it going through the wall and just stubbed out here for now. And then once the walls are poured and everything, we'll dig a small trench through here to our electric panel. All these small 3/4. All right, my camera dropped out there. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, these electric conduits, they'll just run on top of the dirt. Since they're getting covered up with a concrete floor, they don't have to be at the 18 or 20 inch depth like if you're typically running it outside. Our electric, the feed coming in is about 20 inches down, just so on the outside here we could get that depth where it comes off the meter. And then it comes in here. We'll probably start working it up a little bit just so I don't have to cut as deep of a trench. But I'm gonna rent a little walk behind trencher for that because I've got a lot of plumbing going in the floor as well. So we'll just run a little trencher all the way across. That electric room is gonna be about where those tarps are sitting. That's actually where the majority of our plumbing will be too. I've got one water line coming over here for a hose spigot, and then everything else will be the toilet, the bathroom, everything, and I got a little kitchen sink and an office. That'll all be where those tarps are sitting. So luckily the plumbing's all pretty much focused in that one area. But I think we're ready to go. So I just got a little cleanup work. I got some more sleeves in. Right here, this one's actually under the footing for our water main feed. And then I've got, see that big sleeve right there? That one is for the sewer line going out. So that one's not as deep. We figured our finished floor height, our furthest, which is the toilet actually, is the furthest, like, I don't know what you call it, accessory, whatever they call them. That's going to be the furthest run for the sewer. So we figured the floor height from the floor flange down, we figured our amount of fall on the pipe, and that's where that wound up in that sleeve. And then we got one more sleeve here. That one's actually under the footing as well. That's going to be the feed for the wood boiler. It's going to be sitting where that dirt pile is. We'll have two 1-inch PEX in a 4-inch pipe filled with foam that'll run from the boiler all the way to about where these tarps are, and that'll feed the heated floor system. So we got that one about 4 foot deep as well, just keep it out of the frost line. Actually, that's well below our frost line's 32, but water mains and everything around here, they run at 4 foot. So I'm just gonna stick with 4 foot on that one as well. So I'm just gonna get everything cleaned up, and hopefully a couple hours we'll be pouring some concrete, have no issues, and we'll finally have these walls done. Alright, here it is, all poured, braces removed, got all the anchor bolts sticking out now. Didn't get a whole lot of video of us pouring. I think a little bit that my wife shot, and my mother-in-law. She brought our girls out to watch, so she shot a little video. The concrete truck got here a little earlier than expected, so I was still kind of scrambling. I had a a couple little pads I had to form up yet in case we had any extra concrete, and a few little things to do left here, so I didn't have time to get my camera set up. It ended up being a lot hotter than expected. It was only supposed to be about 80 today, and it's let's see, it's about 5 o'clock now. It's 95 right now. So once we start putting that concrete down, it start going a lot quicker. The company I use, they have a plant about 15 minutes from here, and since it's a Saturday, that plant wasn't running, so they had to go to the next closest one, which is about 45 minutes away. So them trucks had a good probably 45-minute to an hour trip here, and once they sat here in the sun and got unloaded, that concrete was going pretty quick. It didn't get away from us. We got it down. Everything went all right. It's just we didn't have time to stop and take video and things like that. But here we are, all poured out. So we got one big hurdle down here. The next thing we're gonna do is probably tomorrow we'll come back, we'll strip all these braces off. I'm gonna leave the wood on. I read, I've had a few guys tell me that instead of spraying curing compound on the side, you leave that wood on. It kind of holds the moisture in. It would have been nice to spray some concrete cure on top. I didn't think to get any. That was kind of an afterthought. But I'm gonna leave the boards on for a few days just to kind of hold moisture in. I know when we built the bridge, I left the plywood on for probably a week, and when I pulled it, I couldn't believe how wet everything was underneath. So I guess the advice I got is true, because I know on the bridge the concrete was still pretty moist, and they want to keep it moist for a while so it doesn't dry out too quick. Everything went okay. Our styrofoam, it held up pretty good over here. We did have one. Well, over here we started, we did it in 3 lifts. We came up about a foot in the foam because I knew that foam was weak. So I didn't want to get too carried away and fill it till the top. I'd have liked to just dump. We had 3 trucks, 8 yards apiece on them. I wanted to just fill it all the way to the top, but with that foam, I was kind of worried of doing that. So we just went a foot each time. And you know, one truck went all the way around about a foot, and we brought the next one in up a foot. The first one we didn't vibrate it. I've got a concrete vibrator. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this thing right here, and it's got this big wand you can stick down in the concrete and consolidates it. We were hitting it with a 2x4 on the first lift. The second go around, we thought we'd try the vibrator, and it needs to be vibrated to consolidate it, but that really started bowing the foam. And if you can see right here, we did have a blowout as soon as we started vibrating it. So we tried it a little more, and that foam started bowing in a few places, so we stopped vibrating it, and we just hitting it with a 2x4 and tapping the side of the form. It's not as good as hitting it with the vibrator, but I didn't want to keep blowing forms out. I didn't have much faith in the foam holding, so I did order kind of heavy when I estimated the concrete. This was probably our biggest blowout here. This wasn't even with the vibrator. You can see right here, it blew out. It just snapped that foam. I ended up getting 2 different types of foam on it. I didn't know. I bought it through Menards online, and I thought it was a high density foam. Well, once it come in, it was that real cheap foam. Well, it wasn't cheap. It was still like 25 bucks a sheet, but it wasn't that high density, good quality foam. I had probably half of it, or maybe 10-15 sheets of it, of that high density foam. We had 0 issues with that. I didn't think we'd have a problem with that. That stuff held nice and straight. But that cheaper foam, it sure bowed a lot. So I kind of anticipated that. I ordered a little heavy on concrete. I was gonna do, we were gonna pour 2 trucks, and if they were running at the plant closest here, I was gonna have what's called a balance load. Basically, we'll pour them 2 trucks out, see where it is, and I measure it up, and they have a truck there waiting, and then they send the remainder out. But since they were coming from so far away, and it was the heat we were expected here. I didn't want to go with the balance load, so I probably spent a little more in concrete than I had to, but on this it's better safe than sorry. I didn't want to run out. It'd be an hour back. You know, they said they only had 3 guys running out of that plant today. You know, I could have been waiting almost 2 hours for that. As fast as this was setting up, I'd have had a cold joint, and that's really not worth it on the footing. So for an extra, I think we're paying $140 a yard, and then they got a $40 fuel surcharge right now. This is June 2022 we're paying that. So I just ate the extra yard on it, and you know, just the cost of doing business, I guess you could say. But anyway, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna strip these braces and forms, all the slight gap inside where the ditch fell in from the rain. I'm gonna backfill all the inside of it with clean rock. That way we don't have any settling issues. Everything out here, we're just gonna blow a bunch of dirt in. Eventually that dirt, it's gonna come up probably about another foot here at the building, all the way around. I need a bunch of dirt here. Then the inside, we'll fill it in with clean rock, and then we're gonna go ahead on our plumbing and electric, get that inspected, and then that big pile of rock there comes in here. So we're gonna have a lot of videos. Unfortunately, I'm kind of behind. It took us so long on these forms. I like to stay like 2 videos waiting on YouTube where I can release them a week at a time, but I'm kind of building this. We're filming as we're going, and I'm creating a video on the Friday evenings, what we did that week, and releasing them. So I wish I had more videos to show weekly, but it's just not happening with the schedule that I have. So I'm trying my best. So again, thanks for watching. If you can, hit that like button, or subscribe would be even better. That really helps us out. I guess we'll catch you next time.